We are talking about careers in accounting. We talked about financial accounting and we talked about managerial accounting. Now we're going to talk about tax. And probably most of you growing up, if you even knew about accounting, you thought all accountants do taxes. And of course now you know way better than that. But tax is an important part of the accounting profession. And there's a couple different things you can do in tax. The most common is called tax compliance. That is filling out tax returns. And a lot of people think that sounds boring. I did it for about 6 weeks. I loved it. I thought it was super awesome. You kind of take stuff and you put everything in its place. And I like that, taking the chaos and putting everything in its place. So if you wanted to do tax compliance, you can do, a lot of people hang out their own shingle. So you're like, I want to own my own business. And so you can either be a CPA or an enrolled agent. And they are different exams and that you have to do. A lot of people have both. They become a CPA and then they also become an enrolled agent. And the enrolled agent is kind of with the IRS. So when you do that, you can take in clients and you do their tax returns, and you know, if they have a problem with the IRS, you can represent them doing that. And we'll talk about that career in another video. You could also do this, you don't have to do it for individuals, you could do it for a company. So most large companies have their own in-house tax department. You can also do it with, when we talked about CPA firms, you can do it for that. Most of their clients are either corporations or high wealth clients, individuals who have a lot of money. So when I did it, I was working at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I was doing real estate partnerships in San Francisco. So if you walk around the financial district, all of those buildings you see are their own individual real estate partnerships. So like 333 Fremont, that was one of mine, or maybe it's 333 Market. But anyway, that was one of mine. And so I did the tax return for that building, right? And so they have lease revenue and parking revenue, and you have to get it all into the right spot. Like I said, I thought it was a good time. If you decide to hang out your own shingle, you obviously tax season is in a finite period of time. So a lot of people also do bookkeeping services on the side. So I have my business clients, and the businesses, I do their bookkeeping through the year, and then I do their taxes. The nice thing about doing hanging out your own shingle is you have a lot of flexibility. So usually what happens is between February 1st and April 15th, you will work 6 or 7 days a week, and they'll probably be 12 to 15-hour days. Now you can work less, but you're gonna make less money, right? That's your money-making time. So people usually work a ton of hours. I know a guy who did this in Texas. He did that, and then on April 16th, he went on vacation for a month. Didn't show his face. And then he came back and got back to work on some of his bookkeeping clients, on the clients that filed an extension, right? So then you have a October 15th deadline. But it gave him a lot of flexibility. He made a ton of money February through April, and then he was able to, you know, work like more of a 30-hour week the rest of the time. So if that sounds attractive, that might be for you. On the corporate side, you have to file quarterly. Businesses have to file quarterly taxes, so you're not going to get that same kind of a break. But anyway, definitely, you know, starting out. So a lot of people do start out in a CPA firm, but you don't have to. A woman I went to grad school with, she started off at Disney, and the money is probably going to be similar to a CPA firm, right? So you're going to be starting off in kind of that 50 to 60, maybe 70 range, and then as you work your way up, you'll make more. If you're doing, if you have your own business, then it's really just going to depend on how many hours you want to work and how many clients you bring in. To do you know, just an individual's tax return, you're probably going to charge about $400 a return, but you know, that could change. And that's why a lot of people end up liking to work with higher wealth clients, because they have more complicated returns and you can charge them more. So, or you could just churn out a lot of easy returns and make your money that way, right? So it's kind of like complexity versus volume. Anyway, that is going to be tax compliance.